Real quick now, does the fact that the title Like a Boss as the name for a comedy film is likely to remind you of a Saturday Night Live Lonely Island sketch from several years ago, despite the fact that no one in the cast and nothing in the content or subject matter of the film has any connection to the sketch in question or Saturday Night Live in general, strike you as amusing, annoying, or largely indifferent? Because that's probably going to be your reaction to Like a Boss, which is otherwise a serviceable, if forgettable, buddy comedy, mostly noteworthy for everything it doesn't do, more so than anything it actually does. Which is to say there's more than enough in the actual film that qualifies as legitimate, you don't see that in movies every day, cool, that it's sort of shocking that they didn't really use any of it to market the film, and yet also kind of refreshing that the film isn't stopping every few minutes to congratulate itself for being so novel and different, which yes, I get that being impressed that the film isn't trying hard to impress you is sort of a catch-22, but these are the things you notice when an otherwise very mainstream comedy is going through the motions between the sort of funny parts. You see, for example, that our co-leads are Rose Byrne and Tiffany Haddish as two female best friends who've effectively lived together as almost sisters since grade school in upscale Atlanta, and matters of race are present but not at all a front-facing factor in the story in a manner that feels organic. That's interesting. The fact that they're both single, actively heterosexual women approaching middle age with no interest in husbands, monogamy, settling down, or children, which the film and the other characters accept as normal and not a huge thing. Also interesting that in this context it ends up being essentially a relationship comedy about a happy couple's bond being tested by the interceding machinations of a scheming seductress that tries to break them up, but in the business world and between three women, but without sex or romance involved in the relationship aspect. Also interesting. And it's really easy to imagine in this era of, woke marketing, I guess, another film taking one of those elements even as an excuse to, peacock up like, hey, check me out, not doing a thing to otherwise be checked out for. This one's content to just show up and play its story out. I mean, even Bridesmaids had that whole fake out of them almost, but then not going to Vegas so you wouldn't forget to make the Hangover but with ladies connection. And hey, yeah, that's all well and good. It's just unfortunate that in addition to not being overly pleased with itself for structural originality, Like a Boss doesn't really have a lot of regular originality going on either. And speaking of the Hangover and Bridesmaids, while it's good to see both Haddish and Byrne allowed to cut loose in an R-rated comedy language, keeps feeling like there are missing pieces where the big show-stopping justify the R-rating gag should be and just isn't. Like, this will cut down for regular cable, no problem. So story-wise, the idea here is that the heroines are two lifelong friends who've launched a creatively successful but hemorrhaging debt indie makeup company, with Haddish as the creative force who prizes independence and Byrne as the ambitious business-minded one who had the troubled background and therefore wants to prove herself and make it big. Their rising success has drawn the attention of a slick global cosmetics tycoon played by an over-the-top for anyone else but kind of subdued for her, Salma Hayek, who claims she wants to invest in the company, but really, well, you get the idea, right? She's the bad guy. She wants to buy them out and steal the company in a weirdly elaborate plan that involves feigning the purchase of only half the rights, but then playing both friends and securities to turn them against each other to cause one to quit and default majority shares to her. And I know the real point, if I'm noticing that the mechanics of that don't make sense, matters more than the fact that it doesn't make sense, but it ends up awkwardly persistent in a story question that the film inadvisedly keeps trying to answer. Is she trying to steal one specific idea from them? Is she specifically vindictive against partnered startups and just gets off on breaking them up for some reason? It eventually seems like they're going in that direction, but the film isn't really interested in giving her enough of a character or the story enough weight for it to matter. She's just kind of over-the-top rich and mean because she's over-the-top rich and mean for no real reason, just for the hell of it, which, I'm willing to believe from, the national news every goddamn day about reality, but from fiction I still require motivation, But otherwise, yeah, it's fine. Not great, but I did laugh at it. The two leads are very funny. Hayek is a natural comedy machine as ever, even if she's not really allowed to cut fully loose here until the third act. Billy Porter has charisma to burn, and he burns quite a lot of it in this. It's another quintessential January-type movie where there's not anything wrong with it, but I wish there was more right with it. I mean, I call it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I'm probably being generous, so what? Look, sometime next week I probably gotta watch that Dr. Dolittle thing. Have some fucking compassion, people.